snatched from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, highlands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
One thought. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better.
I greet you the Muslim greetings by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It means peace be unto you. And I'd like to say good evening to each and every one of you. My name is Isa Muhammad, Imam Isa Muhammad from the Debe Islamic Association Jamaat. And I'd like to open this evening forum with an opening prayer. Let's put our hands together and close our eyes. Ameen. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. Ya Allah, Ya Ghafoor, Ya Allah, we raise our hand to you, Ya Allah, asking for your help and your success, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we got here this evening, Ya Allah, under the BEP party, Ya Allah. We ask and we beg of you from you, Ya Allah. We raise our hand to you, Ya Allah, to put your nur and your blessing onto this party, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you open the eyes of the people of the TNT, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask of you and I beg of you, Allah, whatever is to speak here tonight, Ya Allah, let us be amongst knowledge, Ya Allah, your nur, Ya Allah, what is beneficial for us, let us take it and spread it to the whole entire TNT, Ya Allah. اللهم اغفر لنا حديدا كثيرا كثيرا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم है सबसे कुंभद वाले मंजूर दुआ करना जब वक्त नज़र आए दीदार अता करना है नूर खुदा आखिर आँखों में समा जाना या दर पे बुला लेना या ख्वाब में आ जाना हे पर्दा नशी दिल के पर्दे मेरा करना जब बात नज़र आए आका दीदार अता करना رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين.
बोलो श्री महाविष्णु भगवान की जय। लक्ष्मी जन वेदवत मंडली ज्ञानी सभा भक्तजनों, आज दिन आपको मैं स्वागत करता हूँ। गुरु की कृपा से आपको मैं बोल सकता हूँ। इस कारण के लिए गुरु की चरणों को मैं प्रणाम करता, मैं वंदना और मैं नमस्कार है। Let us all join in prayer. हरि ओम गणनं त्वा गणपति ग्वं हवमहे निधिनं त्वा निधिपति ग्वं हवमहे प्रियनं त्वा प्रियपति ग्वं हवमहे अहम मजानि गर्भमात्मजासि गर्भराम स्वस्ते प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। हरि ओम तत्सत् हरि ओम तत्सत् हरि ओम तत्सत्। बोलो श्री महाविष्णु भगवान की जय। Let me, my name is Satyacharya Pandit Jairam Siram. On behalf of the PP, the Progressive Empowerment Party, this evening, I am pleased to be here amongst you all and all those who is locked on live, praying for our country first. As I offer my prayer this evening, normally when I ask or invite anyone to pray, I say, close your eyes and pray. But I have realized that we have reached to a point where whilst we pray, we don't need to close our eyes. But we need to be alert. This evening we pray to God Bhagwan to guide our protective service, to protect us so that they are able, when they are protected, they are able to protect us. We see the state of our country today. Wherever you go, and when you find out You ask, no one is really happy. You could have everything that you want to make yourself happy, but if you are not protected, if you are not safe, then nothing is valuable. Nothing makes sense. And when I look around and see what is taking place, every day some killing and some murdering and some kidnapping and some shooting, so much thing is happening. And therefore, sometime when everything else fails us, we know God, Bhagwan, will never fail us. But I have realized, and wherever I go, I always mention to people that while you pray, which is so important in your life, you have to do something. You can't just pray and expect and depend on God, Bhagwan, for everything. For Bhagwan, the holy text says that make one footstep towards me and I make 10 towards you. And this is why this evening I am pleased to stand here amongst you all and in San Fernando here and to pray to give courage and strength to this party, Mr. Philip Edward Alexander, a practical person, a person who really, you know, there's a slogan that says that he will fix it. Because we see what is taking place and we really need someone to fix it. We really need that. If not before, but now especially. Because no one is safe anymore in this country. And when we look at our young ones, our children, and see what is taking place, when we send them out into the world, we send them out there, you're not sure for them to return. So much things is happening. Look at what the flood did, how much distress it had. And when you look and see how much people will maybe lend a helping hand to help one another. But I have been following this party. This is why I'm happy or pleased this evening to be here. And I listened to so much of his lecture. And not only that, but wherever some problem or some incident is taking place in the country, if you see nobody else, you guarantee sure to see Mr. Philip Edward Alexander. By himself, maybe he cannot do much. But you know, he gives courage. He gives support. But more than that, he gives solution. He's not only saying that look at what is taking place in the country, but you know what he's saying? Look, we can do this and we can do that for the safety, maybe not only of ourselves, but our children. And that is so important in our life. And therefore, we need to reflect and understand and always understand that we always want change in our life. Change for what? For betterment. And therefore, this evening I pray that may Bhagwan, you see, look, if you look up in the sky today, at this time, look how peaceful it is. No matter the cloud is like this. But even Bhagwan, even the heavenly region realize is not pleased with what is taking place on Mother Earth. And this evening I pray that may Bhagwan blessings be upon this party, the PEP. Give them the courage and the strength to walk through every corner of Trinidad and give hope and strength to encourage everyone not to lose faith and hope that it could be better and it could be fixed. May the grace, may the darshan and the blessings of the divine be upon us all. We want change in the country. It starts from me and it starts from you. May the grace, the darshan, the blessings of the divine continue to be upon us all, to bless us, to protect us, to guide us, and give us that right knowledge and the strength to make a change. Bolo Sri Mahavishnu Bhagavan ki Jai.
Pleasant evening to all. My name is Bishop Dr. Henrik Lewis. I'm here to ask God blessing upon the party. Most importantly, asking God blessing on his children. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we come before your presence, thanking you first for life, that we are in the land of the living, where we can make our peace calling and election sure. We thank you this evening for strength, because your strength is made perfect in weakness. We thank you, Lord, for your mercies, because your mercies is new every morning. We thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on Calvary, that we should have life and have it more abundantly. So we come before thy holy presence to ask for your divine blessing upon this new party. You alone can bless. You alone can do all things in our life. You can make all wrong things right, all dark way bright. So we come unto you because we know that you are our Father. We are your children. We need your guidance. Without you, we can do nothing. We cannot walk, nor talk, nor breathe, nor eat. So we call upon you this evening, Holy Father, to take us to a higher level in our spiritual life, because it's there we ought to be. We are living in troublous time, and we know you are the only one that can stand for us. You are the only one that can deliver us. You are the only one this evening that can stand in the time of trouble. We ask for your blessing upon the police service. We know that they are from you. We know that they perform duties to protect us. So we thank you for them. Holy Father, hear our prayer this evening as we come before you. Look upon Mr. Philip. Lord, you know him better than I do. You know him from his mother's womb until his present hour. Be his guide. Be his comfort. Teach him what he ought to know. Grant him wisdom. Grant him knowledge. Grant him understanding as he goes through this unfriendly world. Look upon him, I pray thee. Now look upon those who are with him. I know you can do all things. All power is in your hands. We got to ask this evening that you take control. But you can only take control if we permit you to take control. There is a saying that God is in control. I, as a PhD, as a doctor of research in theology and theosophy, you only can be in control if we permit you to be in control. Then we can ask you to take our life and let it be. Help us to consecrate our life to thee. Make us the people you want us to be. We need your peace. We need your peace. In these troublous days in our country, we need your peace. We need to pray more earnestly. We need to have a closer relationship with you, because we know you can do all things. You can do exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask or think, because you are powerful. Oh, we call upon you this evening, Holy Father, to be with us on this journey, on this political journey. In the years gone by, kings go to prophets. Kings go to patriarchs. All must be involved. All must take part in that which exists in our country. There is no division between the government and politics. We should join together that we should have a more peaceful country, a more loving country, a country where we are our brother's keeper. So I pray to God this evening that everything will be done decently and in order, and your names will be glorified. May God bless you and keep you. Would he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you? Would he lift up the light of his countenance upon you and give you peace? Not the peace that the world giveth, but the peace that passeth through all understanding. Rest and remain into your hearts and to your minds, through Jesus Christ our Lord. And we all say, amen.
Good evening. Let me adjust my mic. All right. Good evening and welcome to our meeting in the South 3 weeks later from the meeting we had in Bamboo and the. Well, yes, y'all could clap. The overwhelming support. I remember saying 3 weeks ago, this is going to be our last and final meeting. Oh, hat trick. We pull a trick out of the hat, we back. And I think it was just because of the overwhelming support that we got in that St. Joseph meeting in the Bamboo, where so many people were left wanting more. There were so many questions. Some people, even though we have an open mic segment, some people take some time to warm up before they get to where they want to ask their questions. So I anticipate that we might have a little longer question and answer segment tonight. But I'm glad to be back here at what I think is our closeout meeting for the year. I don't know what Philip Edward Alexander has in his bag of tricks to pull out again, but wherever we are, wherever we go next, of course, we're doing it the pep way. Anyway, so we're here at our meeting in San Fernando, and I did not, usually I would like think of something that I would say something significant, that I could leave as an imparting piece of information for you all. But I more want to speak from the heart and in the process probably put some of my business on the road. I sat on the promenade for the first time in years yesterday. I sat on the promenade in between Unit Trust Corporation and JMMB Bank. And this was at about 9:12 a.m. JMMB Bank. I had just left JMMB Bank. I got out of the bank at I remember the time. I'm good with numbers. I'm in finance for a reason. And I remember leaving JMMB Bank at about 9:07 a.m. And I came and I went and I sat outside on the promenade, like I said, for the first time in years. And I pulled out my phone because I was angry and I wanted to do a video. I was angry because JMMB Bank, which opens at 9 a.m., does not take appointments. They don't take appointments because, according to the customer service representative, and this is not me trying to put a bank or trying to blast anybody in particular. So I also want to couch my words. If we have any lawyers in the audience, let me know if I overstep in, because they love to send the PEP um, pre-action protocol letters. But again, I'm just recounting my experience, and I'm getting to a point. So I'm sitting down upset, I'm angry because the bank opens at 9. They don't take appointments. And I went there to open an account because I'm trying to find a way to expand my business international and be able to accept payments from outside of Trinidad and Tobago. But if you visit any one of the local banks right now, you'd realize that the process to do that is extremely difficult. It's non-existent for most banks. Many people who try to set up their business to cater to the external market find themselves struggling for things like US dollars. And me, as a small business owner, young entrepreneur, somebody who was laid off of her job, I remember this year would be 3 years ago, who was forced to start from scratch and build her way up. This is the frustration that I face in this country. My Google Calendar could keep appointments. So I didn't understand that explanation from the customer service representative that the appointment system in the past didn't work. So I was angry because he also went on to tell me that if I want to be able to come in and open that account, that I need to sacrifice and come in and line up like about 7:30 in the morning. And I said, you mean like how we used to do it when we had to line up for a US visa? You all remember those days when people used to be lined up around the corner like cows in a herding, I don't know, line up like be being herded, and we that's how it felt like. So being told that I have to sacrifice even more than I am already sacrificing as a young woman in this country, and I say more than I'm sacrificing. I'm here today on a Saturday. I was just telling Indira, who was looking for me and panicking. I was here today. I didn't get to go and do my usual putting my makeup and all that, try to look presentable in front of the people camera, because I was running around trying to do things for my small business and be here tonight, this evening, to speak to you, because the only reason I am standing up here is because I, as Felicia Holder, 34 years old, young female, who all of those things that I just called faces different challenges in this country. I am personally fed up. I'm fed up of how hard it is to be able to just survive. And I say survive because it's not living anymore, this is surviving. I'm hearing stories of people who receive salary increases and now are being taxed even more, which makes your salary increase nil. My business, which involves going to the grocery regularly, I go weekly, day by day, days in between, 2 days, maybe 3 days, and you see the price difference. Something that costs $5 today costs eight tomorrow. And that is the reality. There are things that they might as well not put price tags on the shelves because they're changing the prices so fast. Everything going up. So my frustration that I feel is, again, as a small business owner, the way I'm struggling to just try and do things the right way, because I'm not trying to do anything illegally. I'm not trying to get an account to loan the money. I'm just trying to run a business, run a proper business. And it's so hard. It's so hard to grow up in a community, and I'm going to segue here a little bit, grow up in a community where I may have had different advantages over some of the people in my community. I accept that. I understand that. But that did not shield me from seeing the realities of what it's like to grow up in a community that has been obviously intentionally left behind. I remember when I was younger, people used to say, let the criminals kill out each other. That doesn't happen in the ghetto. In the ghetto, children are born and they grow up and they have vendettas, or friends have vendettas for other friends. And the cycle repeats. It's been 20 years later, and the criminals clearly didn't kill out each other. In fact, they seem to have multiplied. And why are they multiplying? I will sit with them, and I like to say that I find myself a perfect. I find myself down. I find myself in the center. I could talk to the people on the ground, and I could talk to the people at the top, because I lived both lives. I've lived in the ghetto, but I went to prestige schools, and I had different opportunities abroad and all of these things. And speaking to them on the ground in my community, people who I could pull up and talk to, people that some others might turn their noses up at or might pass straight, you would hear that most of them just want some real opportunity in life. And it boils down to one thing: jobs. They say it. I want a job. I see them. You see those who don't care. When I say they don't care, they will take the hustle. They will go and buy groceries in Massy. They will go and work security in some security firm. They would go and cut grass. Give them the opportunity, they'll do it. Nobody really wants a life of crime. Of course, there are those who love the fast life. Those at the top who run the chain. But those who are in the bottom, the ones pushing on the ground, they don't really want that. And they are the ones who are collateral damage. They are the ones who getting killed out like cockroaches, like people like to say. But they aren't cockroaches. That's somebody's son and daughters who get caught up in it too. And that's what I see. And that's the reality that I want to change. And that's the reality that I know could change. I said I didn't prepare anything this evening. I wanted to speak from my heart because this is how I feel. I get tired of doing this every day, every other day. I am fighting with myself. I'm fighting with Philip to say, listen, just give me a break. I am tired. It is overwhelming. I get tired of fighting with things that I feel like at this age, it should not have even been my responsibility, but I took it on. Nobody sent for me. I took it on. And as tired as I get and as frustrated as I get, I press on this because sitting down here today watching the orange in the crowd, watching Mr. Ellington and his custom made shirt that he made sure he got. Mr. Ellington, big you up. He sent his shirt to get custom made, and I was happy to do that to him for him because he wanted to bear his Pep logo proudly on his personal shirt. And if you want to get your own shirt personalized, check out the merchandise section on the right at the end. But for all these reasons, I am here this evening, and I am thankful that so many other people are taking an interest in a better Trinidad and Tobago. And you may not want to come and stand and talk like me, or be politically involved to the point that you're representing your constituency, but if you do, check Satish at the end. But just being here tonight says a lot. It says that you want something better than what we have right now in Parliament. It says that you know that what we have in Parliament right now, both sides, are just a waste of time. The orange in the crowd, even the non-orange, just your presence, your body being here means you want change. And that change is the Progressive Empowerment Party. Thank you.
One people under one flag. It's time for change. It's time we vote to be. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change. It's time we vote in PEP.
People of San Fernando and environs, and who come down from north, east, everywhere else. Everyone is here with one goal in mind, and that is a fix. Everybody looking towards a fix for what's going on in our country right now. And you all know what is the beginning of that fix? The beginning of that fix is unity. One people under one flag. We, as a country, have to put aside the racial divide that somehow it culturally stick in some of our minds. We have to get rid of that. We have to work on that on a personal level and unite as a country. That's the only way we could start this fix. The PEP is just a conduit to take that unity now and bring it and put it into real life, living purpose. We'll bring it into purpose. We have done the hard work of identifying how we could fix Trinidad and Tobago. That wasn't easy. Right? It took a lot of minds, a lot of individuals who are not even in this country right now. And the reason why they're not here is because they didn't have opportunities to better themselves. So they left, but they want to come back. They want to come home to a better Trinidad and Tobago. But they want to come home to a Trinidad and Tobago that could progress. And right now, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. And we had to stop that in its tracks, and we had to turn around, and we had to start shooting for the stars again. But unity is the first step. Right? I personally have been with the PP probably going on 5 years now. And the stories and the issues and the things we encounter, it's not easy, and half of you probably don't know, or you may make joke about it with respect to corruption and things going on in the government and in the ministries and all over. We'll make joke and we'll say, but deep down inside you tell yourself, nah, that can't be true. But a lot of the things that we make joke about is very much true. And it's frightening. And I want to let you all know what we who put ourselves forward, not only in the PEP, we have a lot of activists, we have a lot of people who standing up for this country, real patriots. But for you who don't know, we are putting our lives at risk to save this country. And that's a serious thing. And without the support of every single individual in this country, in this sweet country, because it's sweet. We just have to remember that, and we just have to do better. Doing better could mean just standing up for your rights. Simple as that. Right? Anyway, thanks everyone for coming. As I say, unity, Pep is here. We are giving you that option, right? All new people, no recycled politicians. We're going to take this thing from scratch. We're going to rumble everything and do it over and fix it. We're going to iron out all the creases, right? With your help. We can't do it without that.
One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Vote PEP.
Well. It's a long drive down to San Fernando, but it was a nice drive. Lots of potholes, but we made it here. Good evening. My name is Robert Amar. I am the host of Sense and Sensibility on the radio station M1047. It's the only station your dial should be tuned into. All the other stations, you should shut them down. We are the only station that brings you the facts. There are quite a few things, and I have a limited time, and I hope I can get everything done. So if you find me in the end hustling, it's because I'm running out of time. The one thing I don't want to forget, which I have forgotten on a few occasions, is I want to wish you, your families, a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully that you'll have prosperity in the new year. I want to tell all of you who put up social media posts, when you put up those posts and all you put is just a picture, it's a WOT, waste of time, because nobody could really contribute to helping you to make knowledgeable and interesting details about those posts. You need to add a little skin to it. Put some details. So especially if you come to me and I'm speaking on the radio, I could reference it properly. But when you just send me a post without details, it's useless. It's good to build numbers, but it doesn't get the results. In most of the cases, those posts that you send to me, I forward them to the 41 members of Parliament, the 30 members of the Senate, the President of the Senate, and the Speaker of the House. And on some occasions, I send them to Philip. Last week, the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago wrote me a letter threatening to shut down my radio station.
I was on air at the time when the letter came. It was because they said I was owing them a significant amount of money. And that was a lie. But the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is intent on closing my mouth. And I hope that if that ever happens, I will see you in your numbers supporting the democracy that we are, according to the Constitution, enshrined and enabled to benefit from or by. Philip had talked about reset. And I have joined an organization called the Global Movement, Freedom Forever. I want to add to that to say to you tonight, it's time to reset the mindset. You see, in Trinidad and Tobago, we have become like a battered wife, the battered syndrome system. Husband or wife gets home and wife or husband beats the other, and we just get up the next morning, we kiss, and we leave. That situation has to stop. And I am offering, in my capacity as a patriot of Trinidad and Tobago, an option. That option is for you to join the referendum movement. Referendum is like planting a pepper tree. Can you plant a pepper tree without a pepper seed? No. But the pepper seed in this case is the referendum petition. Anytime we get this country to wake up and get over 250,000 citizens following a single direction, we will be able to make the change. The Chinese government imposed on all of their citizens lockdown in order to curtail the amount of problems that they have had with the coronavirus. A couple of days ago, 7 or 8 children got burnt to death in an apartment building. What happened after that was very strange to a communist country. It caused the Chinese government to ease restrictions, but they did not mention the protests of the humans. It went on to say that experts says that while that is unsustainable in communist China, that the issue is that they cannot stop what is inevitable. Now, China for 30 years has been one of the leading economies in the world. They have had growth. They have had poverty reduction. They have had better life. They have had more millionaires created in China. I am not going against China for their success. But to impose that draconianism is like what happened to us when they locked down this country. And I'm so happy to see the majority of you not wearing any face mask here tonight. You should give yourself a round of applause. Allow that one. And to those of you who continue to wear it, I say to you, you are ill-informed. Those face masks can't do nothing for you but destroy your life. If any one of you have children, ask your children to do the research on the internet. This is scientific. This is not Keith Rowley-ick. This has nothing to do with him. He doesn't have that scientific capacity. So he just hands it down to you. And don't also forget that he came to you and told you, we always knew that the jab was not the solution. After he forced you to take it and put a lot of you on the breadline, that today we have had the biggest avalanche of closing down of businesses in this country. And the crime rate has exceeded to the point that we have in excess of 577 murders. We head into 600. And there is no solution. The solutions are 10 to 15%. 85% of those people murdered in this country are what you call cold cases. It's unfortunate that the guy doesn't understand. The problem in Trinidad and Tobago is the population. It is you. I have a system that I put in place called the pushback movement. By a show of hands, how many was there? 7 people out of almost 80. What the hell you expect to happen? If you do not support, like Philip had said, if you all had come out when those divers were stuck in the pipe and stood your ground as nationals, showing care and concern for those same citizens, today we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have 1 survivor. We'd have had 5. But we only have 1. We still have 1 who could tell the story. And I told him that he has my heart, because at the end of the day, I can't give him nothing else. He survived to tell a story, to help this country to get to another level. And one day you will get the message, but I hope it's not too late. So start blaming yourself, because the problem is not me, it's not Philip, it's not political parties, it is you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And when you get serious, we'll solve the problem. Saturday is today. Tomorrow is Sunday. And the PNM have their internal elections. So let me share some information with you, because I think that's more important. Here is the internal records in accordance to the voting that took place with the PNM that boast about 100,000 members. On the Saturday, with all the inclemency, 3,582 people voted. On the Sunday, 5,506. A total of 9,088 people voted. But in the constituency of Diego Martin West, from where the Prime Minister resides or is the MP, 83 people voted on the Saturday and 105 voted on the Sunday. My prediction is that he'll be returned. But my request of you is, if he is returned, 100,000 of you show up in the savannah and say, Rowley must go. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, it's time for you to shut up, because we are going to go nowhere. You have to make the change you want to see. Because if you do not make the move to get the change you want to see, you will forever be in the doldrums as you are today. Government found $150 million to take care of those people who are suffering with the inclemency, and again, I hope they recover fast. The problem is how long it will take government to give them the money. And I just saw the police sign their 4%. Imagine the government find $150 million to pay those people, but they can't find money to pay the police that put their life at risk every single day. Every single day. And they had to take a 4%. And Dixon, the man in charge of them, say, well, we are guided by them. I wonder how much of those policemen agreed with the 4%. We'll never find out. Because batch against batch against batch, all the batch just support each other. But 4% is unacceptable. Unacceptable. But they like it. They take it. They know the risk. And they understand the reward. I wonder how much of them get $1 million for loss of life. I wonder how much of them get it. Maybe none. But they go out every day. And they could get gunned down by a bandit with an AR-15. And then the wife had to suffer. But that's the sort of system we live in this country. So again, I'm saying it's time to reset the mindset. And let me tell you why. You've got to start to exercise your political voice to create the change you want to see in your country. You have a political voice, you know. But within recent time, you have it, what do you call it? Mute. You put it on silent. Get your voices ready to be heard. Trinidad and Tobago's second biggest problem is our polarization. You look at me, and here we're calling me Indian. You look at that gentleman over there, and here we're calling him African. Who the hell is an Indian and who the hell is African in Trinidad and Tobago? Well, little get up. On your passport, the last time I checked, I was looking carefully. Somewhere behind the Trinidad and Tobago, I see Indian and African mark, you know. But really, the only thing you could see on your passport is Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So what are you? You're African? You're Indian? Or you're a damn Trinbagonian? You are a Trinbagonian. And if you don't start to respect that you are a Trinbagonian, you'll always be African and you'll always be an Indian and you will always be unwelcome in your own country. So start accepting that you're not an Indian and you're not an African. You're a Trinbagonian. I told you already, as citizens, you fail to answer the call. When we make a call the next time, whoever it is make that call, let there be hundreds of thousands of people showing up for the right reason. I'm not asking you to come and cause no confusion. I'm calling you just to show up. Show up. You don't have to do nothing else. If you show up, the politicians on either side, PNM or UNC, even PEP, will get the message. The power is in the hands of the people, not in the hands of the politician. You are leaving the power in the hands of the politician too long, and he's going to screw you over. Now, if you like that, you got to take it. Just make sure that it's worth it. There is poor social services in this country. How many people here are retirees or pensioners? By a show of a hand. How many of you just catch all their tail to get all the money? And that is not the only person. That is the person that's here tonight. Think of all of those other people who suffer to collect their little $3,000 a month to live. And that is unacceptable, especially in a digitized society where when you're dead, they have to make a death certificate. And when you're born, you have to make a birth certificate. But still, while you're living, in order to get your pension, you have to go and sign a life certificate. How stupid is that? Who is the dotish ignoramus that making that the rule? But it's to frustrate you. It's to take advantage of you. Because that's the only thing they know. Do not wait for opportunity, people. Create it. You have an opportunity now to create what you want. If you leave here tonight and everything stays as normal, then do not expect your families to live a better life in the future. He who is not courageous enough to take risk will accomplish nothing in life. I don't know how many of you have ever taken risk in your life. I have taken a lot of risk in my life, both personal and financial. But I want you to understand, the national anthem has caused us to have a hell of a lot of problems. I am calling for the government to change one line. Where every creed and race find an equal place. I want them to change it to where every citizen find an equal place. Because we have no damn race in Trinidad and Tobago. The only race it has is the human race. And the day you start demanding that the human race be respected because you are human and not because you are African or Indian, you will get a better Trinidad and Tobago. Outside of the general election, my last words, you have no choice. If they ram it down your throat, the city could burn down. We jamming still. And all you see it, the man was in San Fernando partying while people were being flooded. He couldn't put it off. Let's get realistic. But still, that's not the point. The Prime Minister has not addressed this country to date about that flooding. And use the boss. Too damn disrespectful. It's time to reset the mindset. And the day you make that, cross that line on the ground and start deciding that the time is now to reset the mindset, then is the only time you will see a difference. We launched the referendum petition on January the 3rd publicly. I expect everybody in Trinidad and Tobago to support it. This is not PNM, this is not UNC, this is not PEP, this is not PDP, this is not NTA, this is not Robert Amar. This is patriots of Trinidad and Tobago must sign this referendum because that is the seed we need to plant in order to get everything else. If we get referendum, you will then be able to get recall. If we get referendum, you'll be able to get proportional representation. If you get referendum, you'll be able to get your country back in your hands. You will be in charge. If you don't want to be in charge, don't follow the referendum. It ain't my problem. I am bringing an option to you. When I left home this afternoon, I had 5 bread on my table. I had a cup of butter, and I had 2 bottles of water. I good. Have a good evening.
One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Thank you very much. I do not want to speak loud. I do not want to make it. I think we have a problem with the sound bouncing off the building. We're getting a little feedback. I need to be mindful of that. I want a round of applause for David Welch and the audio team. They're doing their endeavor best. They did a great job. I want a round of applause for Lachman Ramrup, our national project coordinator. He's do all of these things. Satish Ramsaran, party organizer. Everybody who spoke before. We've changed how we do politics. Before I go on, I'd like a round of applause for the police officers here securing us. The one people under one flag that we are, whether we accept it or not, that's who we are. The one people under one flag that we are is all of us. At the end of the day, we take off with clothes, we take off with uniform, and we climb into whatever we go to bed in at night. We are one people under one flag, suffering together. That's what we're doing. We're suffering together. We've not realized that we are the cause of our suffering. You hear a lot of politicians talk. The Progressive Empowerment Party has no MC. You introduce yourself. I am Philip Edward Alexander. I am the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party. We have Indira Singh Awai. She coordinates the movement of people on and off the stage. But we try to make this a serious, sober affair, always. There will come a time, I know, that I'll be standing on stages like this and we'll be speaking to tens of thousands of people. I know that. I know it is growing. I feel it. We feel it. All of you know. The Progressive Empowerment Party is on the tips of everybody's tongues. They know. The political parties, the PNM and the UNC, they're pulling out all the stops. There's no media here tonight. They'll take our broadcasts and they'll take our posts and they'll share it if they want. But Newsday, Guardian, Express, TV6, CNC3, and the Telecommunication Authority of Trinidad and Tobago that wrote Robert Amar, their job is like one of the OSHA and EMA and Integrity Commission and the alphabet soup of nonsense that don't work. The Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, they have one job: to manage the bandwidth and the broadcast of my country. It belongs to me. It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to SABGA. It doesn't belong to the PNM. It doesn't belong to the UNC. It doesn't belong to Dr. Prince or whatever his name, who is in charge of it for now. The Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago is supposed to ensure that all of us who are guaranteed our right to free speech and political expression, freedom of assembly by the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, are given equal time. That's his job. That's his job. And he may not know his job because more than likely he's a political appointee and he is doing what he needs to do to keep that job. But if you hire me to run this country, I'll fire him. And I'll fire him for not respecting the Constitution. I'll fire him for not respecting the citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, because he don't have to like me. I don't pay him, but I do as a taxpayer. But he will think it's Rowley paying him for now. So he don't have to like me, but he has to respect my rights. Under the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the 12 charters, 3 of them give me a right to be heard. Each of you have that right. It is what separates us from the despots and the dictatorships. It is what we have to fight for. And I wish the police officers could cover their ears for a minute, but the day they decide to try to take away our democracy, it is what we must riot for. We must stand and defend our Trinidad and Tobago from enemies, foreign and local. That's our responsibility as citizens. Robert talked about his 5 bread and his cup of tea. Watch me. I just, like all of you, like each and every one of you, I could be home. I had to walk out on that Argentina game. That was hard. I swear. And any Argentina fans are wrong. No, that, all you know, that country does break your heart. So you had to take your wins where you're getting it. I had to walk out of the Argentina game to reach here to do this. And as Felicia say, she don't know when next we're doing it. This is the 3rd of December. We could be in Parang and Paramen or something tonight. We could be, all of us, like in myself, out Lyman, down on the avenue or up in the cross or wherever it is, just go to vent at the end of the long, hard week of sufferation that Trinidad and Tobago is. And anybody who says that that statement is not true is a liar. Trinidad is not a good place to live right now. We have police officers who leave their homes, leave their families to go and put their lives in danger for strangers in a country where the Customs and Excise Division just admitted in this narco state, where a prime minister admitted there are 37,000 illegal guns in 2017, that 19,800 containers came into this narco state without being scanned, screened, looked into. We've shipped, ask these police officers, they will tell you, we've shipped billions of dollars of cocaine to the world. Trinidad has shipped cocaine to Spain, to Vietnam, to the Philippines. Trinidadian cocaine went to Norfolk, Virginia, and Canada. Trinidadian cocaine was in a bottle of some soft drink that SM Jalil has made. I don't know how it ended up in that bottle. I'm not blaming SM Jalil, but it is their brand. And somebody in England drink it, and it busts their heart in their chest. It was pure cocaine. We've shipped cocaine in Milo tins. I'm not blaming Nestle. But we ship cocaine out of a country that does not grow cocaine or does not make cocaine. So if customs and excise cannot stop cocaine and guns, why are we paying them? To frustrate the small importer who bringing in the little parts for your car, you bring in the little entertainment, something for yourself, clothes, whatever. Customs' job is to make the small businessman frustrate his life, don't understand your documents, take bribe from the apple and banana importer if you not paying a bribe, so your goods stay on the docks and rotten while they playing send and bring documents game. But if the customs, whose job it is to secure the nation from guns and drugs, not securing the nation from guns and drugs, why are we paying them a salary? We had 560 murders, give or take. We in new territory. This is the highest we've ever been. We have practically a month of murder left. So we could set the bar very high where the bloodletting and death is concerned. And everybody knows we live in a country where everybody think when somebody get killed, he horning, she horning, he thieving, that one bribing. All is collateral damage in a country that hates itself. Eric Williams taught us that. Eric Williams taught us to hate ourselves. If you're black, stay poor and hush. PNM go take care of you. If you're Indian, you're a recalcitrant minority. PNM don't care about you. And that was the first message we got from independence. Not even the Queen was so bold-faced in their divide and rule. But Eric Williams, he stuck a dagger in the heart of national unity that we've been fighting to fix since. Syrian people, Chinese people, white people, and others who don't easily fit into black, African, or Indian, they have no say. So our politics doesn't work. And until you fix the politics, I told you all today, I put out a video about why our roads do not work. And Trinidadians are in shock that this information is available and nobody told them. And we literally showed them how roads were invented to be built by the Aztecs and the Incas and the Romans and the Persians and the Babylonians and the Mesopotamians. Those cultures, long gone, have left roads we still use. The Aztec Highway is a real thing from Argentina almost to Canada. It real and it there 10,000 years. Junior Sammy can't build a road that lasts 10 years. Kusal and Calco and all them who just get big contract, big name on big bright light flashing and can't build a proper road in the country. The Yankees built road in Chagaramas, Wallerfield and the North Coast in 2 years. That's still there. Sheldon Khan, where is Sheldon Khan, our representative for Point 14? I met Sheldon Khan on a section of the Point 14 highway that taken 20 years to build. In 2022, they playing monkey games with all you. Because that should not be so. And we get to a point where we tell people, if you burn tires and you protest, we go lock you up. And that is wrong. Because Eric Williams and Ellis Clark edited the Constitution to remove the things that Robert Amar is fighting for now. Things like referendum and recall. Because before the 1976 Republican Constitution, you could have fired Rowley. And for his absence for the flooding, he should be fired. For appointing Rohan Sinanan as Minister of Works, he should be fired. And that Rohan Sinanan, who is responsible for everything that went wrong in Manzanilla, has not been fired yet. But Rohan wasn't fired when he destroyed the forest to build a shortcut to Manzanilla. So we shouldn't be surprised that they fall in a swamp and mash up the river. These people don't care about you. When he went on tour, he was supposed to say, we need an investigation. But he can't say that because an investigation will go to his property. And they'll have to charge him. And whoever in the Environmental Management Authority told him he could go ahead and do it. You see, as long as you continue, and Robert said this, and I will say it too, because hear me, I happy with or without politics. In fact, my misery is politics. Look at me. You hear me when I talk. You know, there's nobody in the PNM or the UNC could debate me. I've said that before. That's not cocky arrogance. Everybody have a gift. This is my gift. And I would gladly debate them all. They've all offered me positions in their parties. I'm not in this for state work. I'm not in this for blue lights and to save some taxes on a fancy car like Simon de Nobrega to drive around and look like something more than I thought I was ever going to be in my life. And I call these names for a reason. Because we do not have one single government minister in this country today qualified to do the job. Not one. The Minister of National Security is a dunce. Fully dunce. He is the most fired person in this country's political history. All of that? Fitzgerald Hines has been fired from 21 public positions, and they're still hiring him. They're still hiring him. Now, to the sports people who suffering under Shamfa Kuju, that hard, but it's not hard like law enforcement who's suffering under Fitzgerald Hines. Because the most that could happen under Shamfa is you ain't get a chance in the Olympics, but they get put in danger. You can't be led in a serious situation by a fool. When you have people in this country who do not recognize that regardless of the color of your skin or the texture of your hair, we are all Trinbagonians. We are all one people under one flag. We are all deserving of proper representation and service. If you don't get that from your government, you must fire your government. That's our job. That's our job. And I told them when we were working out the budget, because Felicia will tell you that when we're working out the budget, anywhere I could save money, I will save money. I tell them, don't spend the money for the tent. If it rain, I have an umbrella. I have Bastille Pande used to call it what? In the vineyards, suffering in the vineyards. I doing that. I listening to Mr. Man with the bar, jamming the music. If I was one of the police officers, I'd have gone and say, hey, these people have permission for a political party and you're disturbing the peace. Because the police job is to keep the peace. Hey, that is not how we talk. They are disturbing the peace. They are disturbing everybody. The real law in America, police officers don't have to come. In Trinidad, they write nonsense law and say until EMA come and tell you. But what the police will tell you is, if I am outside your establishment and I am hearing your music more than I'm hearing myself, you're disturbing the peace. And I wish one of the officers could go and ask him to turn it down. Because he is disturbing me. But this is Trinidad. And Akil said, when you stand up politically in this country, you put yourself at risk and in danger. You think the road contractors that get those billions of dollars to build those fake roads under the PNM and the UNC want you to know that the road fake? You think they want you to know that the reason the road's collapsing is because they put pitch on mud? People think that it is because water pipe below there. Water pipe shouldn't be below there. But people think that that is the reason. The reason the road's collapsing is something called liquefaction. And Rohan Sinanan don't know this, probably can't pronounce this. But when you shake dirt enough, it turns to liquid by itself. It's called liquefaction. And Satish, we have any members here could go to the bar and ask them to turn down the music? Where's Felicia Holder? Where's the chairman? Felicia, could you call the police? There's a law, a natural law, that says my right to swing my fist stops at your right to not be hit in the face. And when we all learn that, we wouldn't have to have so many police officers standing outside here tonight, because everybody would respect everybody else. But we're not there. As a nation, we're not there. But we need to get there. And the only way we're going to get there is if we stop the racist division that allows the contract mafia, the organized crime that controls those politicians and allows for the destruction of our country. The day we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, stand up for each other is the day this country becomes what it was meant to be. Now, I want to tell you something. On the 25th of February, I'd like to give the bar a round of applause. On the 25th of February, I was in fire service headquarters because I went to make a noise because 4 little black children burned to death in Baraval next door to RB, whatever it's called now. And they burned to death with the fire truck stand up right there, and the fireman tell me we don't have the tools to break down the door. So the world watched those children burn to death. And I went to make a noise. And when I was making that noise, the chief fire officer told his subordinates, call the police for me. So we left. The head of the Fire Service Association contacted me and said, everything you're saying, you're right. 1/3 of the fire stations in this country have no trucks. Most of the trucks driving on the road have no equipment. None of the firemen have self-contained breathing apparatus, which looks like scuba gear. It's the same thing. If you put a U for underwater, that spells scuba. But for firemen, it's self-contained breathing apparatus. And when you see our firemen outside the building, wetting outside the building, that's not firefighting. It's called firefighting because you kick down the door, you go inside, you find what is burning and you're out that. And then you're out the rest of the building. But they can't do that because we don't have those things. Anyway, so he had told me that he will come on a show with me tonight, the 25th of February. And Satish Ramsaran organized the show and we broadcast the show. On my way to getting to the show, I got a call from a gentleman who introduced himself as Nicholas Kerban. Nicholas Kerban called to tell me that an incident occurred at Paria and that 5 men were trapped in a pipe underwater and that nobody was responding to them. And they wanted me to make a noise so that people could respond, those in authority. The rest is, of course, history. But Nicholas Kerban is here tonight, and his mom is here. And if Nicholas still wants to come up on stage and say a few words to you all, I'd like him to join me. And Christopher Boudram is here. Christopher Boudram is the diver that was one of the 5. Because of this young man's bravery and courage, we found out that there were people trapped in that pipe. Because of this young man's bravery and courage, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. Because in my mind, I trying to deal with this fire service thing, but he telling me, boss man, you don't understand what it is I'm trying to tell you. This is Christopher Boudram, those of you all who don't know. If it were in my power, he would have a national award, the Trinity Cross, or whatever we're calling it now. And I spent a weekend with these gentlemen. You all don't have to say anything. You have a case going on, it's up to you, right? Their parents are here. We have parents here. We have loved ones here of the divers. But I want you to know this. I spent that weekend down in Paria with them. This man was willing, after they found out that you couldn't go in the pipe because certain people with guns were standing up blocking it, they were willing to risk that because his dad was in the pipe and their friends and their colleagues. And I said, we are doing right now 9 nights. What's the time? 5 minutes away from lighting candles tonight because tonight is the 6th night, Akil. We have the candles here. If somebody could bring 4 candles and light it here for me, please, I'd appreciate it. At 7 o'clock, we're doing this every night. I see Satish have the candles. We're doing this every night outside the Red House because what took place in Paria, and I want you all to hear me say this, what took place in Paria should never have taken place. We as a nation, we failed. All of us, every single one of us failed, and we failed. We did not respond. When he called me on the phone, he insisted that I respond. And when we went down there and we were calling people, come out, please, come out. Because if we had come out in our thousands, I know this country, them politicians belly weak. They'd have find a way to rescue those divers. But we didn't. And that, Felicia and Satish could tell you, that broke me politically. I almost walk away from politics. I almost say then, you know what? It could burn down. I don't care anymore. If we could leave 4 citizens trapped in a pipe and not even try to rescue them, was the point. I want you all to meet Nicholas Gilbert.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicholas Kurban, Faisal Kurban's son. He was one of the divers in the accident. I just want to tell you guys, thank you for coming out tonight and showing support. All I have is a mom and Rishi wife here, but and Chris and the family. And other than that, we tried our best that day, and it was a situation after situation. It's like the devil himself was pushing, holding me back. Uh,
Christopher Buja.
I'm just taking this opportunity to tell Mr. Philip thank you for responding and bringing awareness to the whole country. Thank you, Mr. Philip.
We didn't call them here. We never ever politicized this issue, even though we were, for all intents and purposes, first responders. The media wasn't there. The media wasn't there. I think we're having a problem here, David. But we were there. And we never politicized it. One of the divers that went for Christopher is, and has been for a long time, a Progressive Empowerment Party member, Ronald Ramuta. Give him a round of applause, please. I'm saying that tonight. We never talked that. I'm saying Anthony Henry, who was the PEP candidate for Komuto Manzanilla in 2020 and the head of the East Hub, is the uncle of Yusuf Henry, who was also in that pipe. It's only when we got down there we found out how connected our organization was to those people. And what is going on now? Let me give you an example. In less time than it taking them from the event that happened in February to having a commission of inquiry in November, in less time in America, there was a fellow named Timothy McVeigh who blew up a building in Oklahoma. They found him, charged him, prosecuted, and executed him in less time than it taken us to find out who is responsible. At the end of the day, somebody is responsible, and we in the Progressive Empowerment Party will never let this go. We want justice and we want compensation. Those families have been suffering beyond suffering. The length of time it is taking to address this issue is adding insult to injury. And that is why we are having the 9 nights outside the Red House, to let the state know that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we want justice and we want compensation for the families. I don't know how the rest of you all feel about the country now, but in a short 2-week period, this Trinidad and Tobago felt like it was being destroyed. It was being pulled and pushed in every direction. And when you looked around, there was nobody in authority. The people were left to their own devices. When I went down Manzanilla to see what happened, oh, let's take a minute. In this audience tonight is Pauline Barrett. She is the mummy of Sean Luke. She comes to our meetings because she told Felicia she finds hope in what we're doing. And that's what people are looking for. People are looking for hope. They're not going to get hope until we free ourselves from the bondage of tribal, racist, divisive voting. Until we free ourselves from the apathy of living in a country and not taking responsibility to safeguard its democracy. Somebody said we are singing birds in an open cage. Fly free. Everything that we need to fix in Trinidad and Tobago, you have the power to fix in your finger. We could fix it. It is the Progressive Empowerment Party that gives you the information, not just what is wrong or who did it, but how it could fix. I want to welcome a new member to our shadow MPs, Orapuch East, Miss Marissa Passad. If you could join us for a minute, Marissa.
Hi, good night, everybody. This would actually be the first time I'm being introduced as Shadow MP, and it sounds pretty good. I want to thank Mr. Alexander for welcoming me to the PAP, as well as our family in the Progressive Empowerment Party. Forgive me if I am a bit anxious on the stage. I am not much of a talker. I am more of an action person. If I can get it done, I don't need to say anything. A few nights ago, I went in town to meet Mr. Alexander as well as a few other PEP members to light the candles for our divers of Trinidad and Tobago. But I didn't only light a candle for our divers. I also lit that candle for my husband, who passed just 2 days before these guys passed. And I used them as an example to cheer up my children, because I told them, I say, you know, your dad, we were expecting his death. We know he was sick, and the doctors told us, you know, look out for anything. But for these divers, it was so unexpected. So we lit those candles not only for the divers, but for everybody who got injustice in this country. everybody who did not have a voice, and even if they tried to speak out, they were persecuted. They were shut down by this government, even by the opposition. And tonight we take a stand. We take a stand and shout to everyone to let them know that we are here and there are people out here that care. And we will shout and let everybody know that we as a people can do this. Justice for all. Justice for all in all categories of life. And I think I don't have anything much to say because Mr. Alexander said it all already. So I just want to wish everybody a good night and reach home safe. I thank you.
One people under one flag. It's time for change. It's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
And I want to welcome Marissa to our growing ranks. If you look at what we are doing, we are building out a movement of representatives on the ground who can help you fix what needs fixing. Our intention, that slogan, Philip will fix it, that came from the people when we were just trying to help, we will make sure PEP will fix it. And all of our shadow MPs, you'll get to know them in your constituencies, and they will fix it too. And I just want to tell you one more thing. Trinidad is set up to fail. The way the police service, how the different departments are set up, how the RHAs in the health sector are set up, how many counties we have, how many constituencies we have, and how many regional corporations we have. Those are different numbers with different geographical controls so that there could never be communication. I'll give you two examples. Under the People's Partnership, there were 5 organizations with responsibility for cleaning the rivers, so nobody cleaned the rivers. Right now, if you drive down Arapita Avenue, you will see signs of a company named Unicom that is fixing sidewalks. Sidewalks is basic construction work, basic masonry work, and it should be handled by people in the community, not big shot companies like Unicom that got $100 million contracts to build, to renovate President's House. It should be for the small man. And we have a Port of Spain City Corporation, we have a Ministry of Works, we have a Ministry of Local Government, we have CPEP, we have URP, we have every single way that the government, this government led by Keith Rowley, who stood up in the parliament and said, when I went to Princess Building Grounds, when they was building Napa, 100% Chinese labor, nobody from Belmont, nobody from Cascade, nobody from Digger Martin. How quickly they forget. How quickly they forget when they get in that red house and they drink whatever that mad water is, that they forget that they believed that the man on the ground needed to get paid. You see, a progressive empowerment party government will abolish the way the police service is set up, the regional health authorities, the RHAs, all of it, and replace it with something called the Constituency Board of Supervisors. I'll explain this to you quick. There'll be a supervisor of public works, public utilities, healthcare, education, national security. So within your constituency and all of the 41 constituencies, the important things to manage your constituencies will be done in your constituency. Under a progressive empowerment party, there will be no more monster contractors, no more overnight successes. I, with my own eyes, witness under 2 different versions of the UNC because the PNM already had their monsters. So when the UNC came into office, two different companies that between them didn't have a backhoe and a truck became monsters. And I'm not knocking people making money, don't get me wrong. But share the wealth now. And a progressive empowerment party government will pass as a law all public works to be done in the constituency must be done by companies from the constituency, by workers who live in the constituency. You see, when you give Junior Sammy $100 million and he pays staff, the rest is to go and party at the Bellagio in Las Vegas on the private jet. But when you give a small businessman a mile of pavement to fix, he gets to take care of his family, pay his bills, and spend the money in the local economy. And everybody benefits. That's how it should be. When we give Unicom payment for those sidewalks on Arapita Avenue, it not coming back into Woodbrook. And that's the problem. So that I care if Terence the Alsing wife making money. I don't care. I buried my father a couple weeks ago. I know this ends. When they buried Anthony Saab, guy wanted to go and knock on the coffin and say, you see, I tell you it ends. There are people who live in like you could take all, eat all, and carry it with you. But it ends. And our policies as people must be that if one of us starving, none of us should be happy. A country this powerful, this wealthy, this pregnant with potential have 10,000 homeless people in town. How is that possible? It is only because we've never had a proper government that was focused on the development of the people. We've witnessed negotiations for salaries where the government, through the chief personnel officer, cap it at 4%. But that is, for some of those workers, that is 2013, 2014, 2015 salaries. To increase your salary by 4% in 2015 for 2015 is different to increasing your salary by 4% in 2023 for 2015. You see, the cost of living in this country has gone up at least 50% twice. Look at the price of bread today. Look at the price of flour. Look at the price of gas. Look at the price of taxi fares. Contrast and compare what you could have bought and spent and done for your family in 2014 with that money and what you could do now. And if it doesn't add up, it's wrong. And then the Minister of Finance is coming to fool you because they're under real pressure. This government could collapse. They come in to tell you, we find $1,008,000,000. We in the black. You're in the black with your own contractors, your own VAT refunds, and you're not paying workers properly. How does the black? How is that the black? This government has no clue what it is doing. But between the PNM and UNC, they're playing tit-for-tat games to leave you confused. We tell you, end the confusion. Let's vote into office a government whose policies are built on all of the people, one people together, all of us, hope and opportunity. When Felicia spoke about the people in the ghetto, they want a chance at a life. When children come out of school, they're supposed to be able to go forward either to university or to a career. We don't have that. We need to make that our reality. This is the formerly third wealthiest nation in the Western world. It was Canada, America, Canada, us, ahead of Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Panama, you name it. This country has been destined for greatness. We were on the cover of Time magazine. They refer to us as the Caribbean tiger. Look at us now. Broken. We owe everybody. We in debt. We cannibalizing what left of the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Norway, that found gas and oil 40 years after us, has the largest stabilization fund in history. It affects every stock market on the planet. Right now, people from Trinidad are in a desert in Qatar. And every time you turn on the tap, it have water. In Trinidad, you was up to your waist in water, and the only thing in your house dry is the pipe. The only reason it is continuing. What Robert said tonight, Robert Amar, and he's somebody I have a great amount of respect for. And what he said tonight, angrily, because he's been fighting this fight. I know Robert decades. And I'd go by Robert, and there'd be people sitting in the waiting room. And they're just there to tell him their problems, and they know if they come there, they'll get something. He's been trying. Robert, as an East Indian, created Kiskidi Caravan, and he worked hard culturally. He's a man who don't see race and color. And that's why these things annoy him. So that's why he speaks so angrily. But he's correct about one thing. If we continue along this journey divided, we will lose. To fix it, we have to be one people under one flag. Akil Camps told you that. Trinbagonians, Trinidadians and Tobagonians, however you want to call it. But miss me with the nonsense of Afro and Indo and Syrian Trinidadian. Miss me with that. We have to be Trinidadian. Because most of us, even though they're forcing us to put those things in front of our name, we'll never see Africa, we will never see India. And if they try to send me, well, only know the joke, they gotta send me in parts. The only reason there's a Progressive Empowerment Party, and Ms. Holder, the chairman, said it. The only reason there's a Progressive Empowerment Party is that somebody has to stand up. And when we looked around, we realized it was us. So we are standing up. And we are asking everybody to stand with us, to stand together. Let us raise these issues. Let us unite the people. Let us offer real factual solutions to the problems that plague this nation. Let us use politics to end the sufferation. Let us unite as one people under one flag and fix Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Vote PEP.
Even though So good night again, everyone. I just want you all to know that the open mic will be starting very shortly, okay? So you can have some beverages, but after that you will be able to ask the political leaders some questions, all right? Thank you.
It's a spiritual feeling, but I catching the power. Tripping on the road, but I catching the power. On the ground and I catching the power. When the music hit me, I catching the power. Even though, in your world, people try to fight you. All how they want bring you down. Behind your back, they trying to spite you. Smiling with you like this. Yes, you know that.
Good night, Papas. Good night. Good night. We just heard our political leader. Yes, we can give him a round of applause. Yes, yes. It gives me the immense pleasure once again to deliver the vote of thanks for this proceedings to all our members and guests. This evening on behalf of our great party. So I would firstly like to thank all religious bodies. I would like to thank Woodford Cafe, Passad's Doubles, PEP Media, and also PEP Youth Arm, PEP Women's Arm for the hampers that was donated, Delicia Joseph, Ravi, Mana Karan, Trinity Lighting, Lachman's team, Chris Burnett, Esther, Akil, Crispin, etc., Jeffrey Duqua for the PA system, merchandising team, you have Nicole, you have Kieran, you have Karen, Wazim, Amanda Williams for mobilization and merch. We would also like to give our thanks to Curry Guides. Also, we like to give our thanks for the delicious ice cream, Trini Treasures. We would like to give thanks also to all the donors. So we have Cheryl, we have Teresa, we also have Yvette. We like to thank all of the women. We like to thank all of our members for coming out tonight and being a part of yet another great public meeting. And yet again, PP, well, I am not hearing y'all. PP, well, PP, well, PP, well. Have a wonderful night.
One people under one flag. It's time for change. It's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. Vote PEP.
Good night, San Fernando. How are you doing tonight? My name is Ravi Sichran, Shadow MP for the constituency of Princestown. And tonight I'm here to address you on maintenance or the lack thereof. We have no maintenance in this country. Cable barriers in a mess, road network in a mess, drainage, massive flooding throughout this country, and no one seems to care. Well, tonight I'm here to tell you that we in the PEP, we care, and we have a plan for Trinidad and Tobago. We have a plan to not only to fix it, to fix everything in Trinidad and Tobago. So when the rain sets up, you don't have to worry. When the road cracks up, we will fix it. And in as shadow MPs, we are responsible for our constituencies, and we intend to take that very seriously. And we ask you, Trinidad and Tobago, to join with us as we walk the length and breadth of this country with the intention of fixing every part of this country. Philip recently broadcast on the videos which you have seen the state of our roadways. It's not supposed to be like that. We have roadways where they say they just put pitch on mud. As someone who is in the construction sector, I can tell you that is not supposed to be. We're supposed to have a proper foundation, but we don't even have that in our leadership. So how can we have it in our road network? How can we have it in our drainage systems? How can we have it on our highway network where the cable barrier is a mess? Trinidad and Tobago, now is the time for change. And we ask you to come on board to join with us as we bring this change to Trinidad and Tobago. One people under one flag. This is what it is about, and this is what we intend to do. I would like to thank you all for attending, and now we proceed to our open mic.
One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
Good night, everybody. Good night to the people in San Fernando, everybody that come out, good night. We know us, we are the workers' rights group. This is the full gamut of the team here. We have plenty of people outside, but we come tonight here, you know, we fed up at the games. We fed up at the games at the two party. One party doing stupidness, and the next one saying, you ain't seen what they're doing, and the citizenry are caught up in the middle. And some of the times that I feel is sabotage and a trick that they're trying on the citizens to keep them in a particular position. And we here, the workers' rights team, have taken an initiative to start to call them out. So we all over social media calling them out. And we build a strong team. You see that thing they call referendum? It's something that we strongly support. And we would have heard Mr. Alexander and Robert Ama would have talked about referendum. And referendum is something that gives us, the people, a say in what is taking place within our country. So if everybody come together and sign this referendum, we will have a choice on what we want rather than who we want to represent us. And I'm imploring everybody, asking that we should join this cause, sign the referendum. Choose what you want instead of who you want. Choose to stand up for something than to fall by the games and the tricks of the two major political parties. And that is, as I said, I believe that is the only choice right about now. Well, the rest of the team here, I don't want to stay too long. I introduce Senator Terry Shade.
Yes, good night, everybody. Right, again, as he just mentioned, the referendum, that is something we all should really put our hearts and trust into, that referendum. You understand? So I want to make it brief tonight. I want to talk about that 4%. It hurts in my heart. I hurt. Because yes, we see in these union leaders that don't give a damn about the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Not Roger, not Anisette, the president for the prison association went on media and said, well, Rowley, you can man the prison now. You man the prison now. Make a big scene and mama guy all away. Then what happened the next day? Everybody just went and worked as normal. What happened the other day with the president for the police association? He accepted the 4%. Things is hard in this country. $2,000 a month in gas you have to pay in your car now. And the president for the police association accept the 4%? That's madness. Why it is all these union leaders cannot come together and tell you, let me shut down this country. Block the roads, let nothing pass, let me shut it down. But instead, they rather play politics with the politicians and them. You understand? Those Kamlan and Rowley, them is best of friends. Them don't like the citizens. Them job is to frustrate the citizens. That's what Kamlan and Rowley job is to do, to frustrate us. Them doing their job. And I applaud them for doing their job. That is their job. But you know who not doing their job? These union leaders and them. They're not doing their job. Butler is rolling in his grave right now. And I wish Butler was still alive today to teach these union leaders and them how to really be leaders. Them accepting 4% and everything going up on a daily basis. And Stuart Young could make a statement saying, well, I can't tell the supermarket to lower the price. Well, all right, if all can't tell the supermarket to lower the price, give people 20%. You ain't had to tell them lower the price. Give me a nice amount increase in salary. And watch where the president for the police association, I feel all the police officers should stop paying their union dues. They should stop it. All of we should stop paying union dues because them union leaders not doing nothing for us. You understand? So I just want to make that brief. I have a video. All right, before I play that video, I was talking to a union leader the other day and he was saying, you can't say shut down because like sedition, you will get locked up. So I want to read something here. It says in a 46-page judgment, Justice C. Prasad ruled that sections 3 and 4 of the Sedition Act was patiently inconsistent and are at odds with section 1 of the Constitution, which regards Trinidad and Tobago as a sovereign democratic state, as these provisions impose disproportionate and unjustified restrictions on freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of thought. Satmaraj, they charged Satmaraj for sedition, and Satmaraj have got his lawyers involved. His lawyers went to court and they said sedition is unconstitutional. So much so that they throw Satmaraj case and they throw Watson U case too. So my question is, if sedition is unconstitutional, Why are these union leaders frightened to say, let me shut down this country? Why? Well, it had to be that. Somebody paying them not to tell me shut it down. We ain't go and riot. We could just block the roads. Nothing could pass. And watch when that will shake up the government so much so that Rowley go say, all right, tell you, take 20% now. Just don't shut it down again. Take 20. Rowley go, here we. And this is why we supporting Philip Alexander, boy. Because with Philip Alexander, we need to go through all that. He gave me with dues. He gave me with 20%. He not taking off the he not raising the gas prices. What I used to spend $100. I used to fill my tank. Now it's $500 I have to fill my tank. That's madness. That is total madness. So let me make it brief. I want to play a video here. Because Basdio Pandey said that politics has a moral of its own. Remember, I want to play this video here for you because this is India, right? India, boom, boom, boom. Right, only if I could.
All I could tell Anil, I could take a one, forget one. I ain't sending nobody to kill nobody.
Right, so if all in hear that again, I'm gonna just replay it, right?
All I could tell Anil, I could take a one, forget one. I ain't sending nobody to kill nobody.
And everybody in the PNMs applaud Rowley when he make that statement. Now everybody know what Rowley talking about, right? Now if he could go on a political platform and make a statement like he ain't sending no gunman to kill nobody. He ain't sending nobody to kill nobody. And up to now, the police in lock up Rowley, or at least hold him for questioning, then something is wrong with the democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. Basdio Pandey was right. Politics has a moral of its own. You can't tell me you, as the Prime Minister, make a broad statement like that. I ain't bringing no gun. Forget about who on who. I ain't studying about who on who. We talking about he made a statement because he was talking to Anil Roberts. I ain't bringing no gunman to kill nobody. He ain't get hold for questioning. Something is wrong with the democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. We need a change. We need to vote Philip Alexander because he's the only man that could fix the democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. And I feel with Philip Alexander in office, everything will start to run smooth. All right, so you have anything to say? We go and pass down to the next speaker here. Go ahead.
Good night. My name is Ingrid Friday, and I joined the Workers' Rights and Human Rights group because I have a passion for people being treated with respect. And when I say it's good night, citizens, because neither do I see race, because if I were to be split, I don't know where I would go. Now, I thank Mr. Alexander for making and highlighting the issues of those divers. And I hope we stand together as citizens to ensure that justice is served. I will be brief on the 4%. As I believe my stance on this whole issue is that the unions are being dismantled by the government so that citizens should have no say. It is disrespectful. I have incurred a bill of $2,000 now to go to work. Food prices has increased more than 50%. And we are being told we have to take that by the people we put into power to protect us and to use our finances properly. It is unacceptable. So I will stand with anyone who is out for justice and for treating humans as human beings. I thank you for being here tonight.
This is a call to the nation. One by one, let's do it together. Let's be the change we want to see. Stand standing strong to any weather. Follow the light of the PEP, cause we could build a better place for every creed and every race. Together we could triumph over anything we face. So one by one, two by two, the PEP, we're here for you. Bit by bit, one people under one flag. So come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we go fix it, we go fix it. Because we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. It's time for a change indeed. Build it, we go fix it, we go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
All right.
Twin islands, let's move together.
Audio.
Unity we can achieve. Right the wrongs, we do it together. Let's build a place where we could truly be. Moving together, hand in hand. One people under one God. We can build.
All right, so good night once again to everyone. We want to do our open mic session right now. For those of you that would like to ask the political leader any questions, you could just raise your hand. And yeah, Akil passing around the mic. Oh, ask Akil the questions. Nice, Philip will fix it. You know. So for those of you that would like to ask Mr. Alexander any questions, just raise your hand and we'll pass around the mic to you. Come in front or something, please. If it have no questions, then we're wrapping up the live event tonight. Yeah, any questions? She want to say something from Point Fortin? Come. Okay, so I was just told, breaking news, that if you'd like to say anything, you can come up to the podium real quick before we wrap up our live broadcast tonight and say a few words, okay? All right, so we have a representative from Point Fortin.
Hi, good night, everyone. My name is Adria. I'm from Point Fortin. I'm here to raise a few issues. Point Fortin has never been in a worse state than it has been, and I've lived there for almost 21 years. And the infrastructure is completely falling apart. Nobody's doing anything. There aren't any jobs. But one of the major issues we're having is the road in Chatham and Cedros is almost completely collapsed, and it is a death trap. And no representative or official is doing anything about it. Where answers are not coming from the MP, the contractor backed out, nobody is doing anything, and at any point in time, somebody could be driving on it and the entire road could collapse under them. So, that's all I needed to say, that Point Fortin is being severely neglected, nobody is really doing anything, and it's like a forgotten little spot in Trinidad. Thank you, good night.
All right. Yeah. All right. Anybody, any questions? Anyone?
Good night, everyone. My name is Elginton Lewis from Cashew Gardens North in Chaguanas. There is like nothing in Cashew Gardens. The drains in Cashew Gardens North have not been cleaned in more than 3 years. There is a rainforest growing in the main drain in Cashew Gardens North. There is absolutely nothing for the youths. No playground, no community center, absolutely nothing. And this government does not care. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the public. Okay, so my name is Sheldon Khan. I am from Point Fortin. I met Philip when I needed issue addressed, and there was nobody else who was willing to even listen. And the sad part about that is that we all have the same problem. Recently, an elderly gentleman came to me, a member of the village council in my area, close to tears. And he was explaining that a piece of hill was sliding down and pushing against his house. He's a pensioner. And he was telling me, he said, Sheldon boy, I don't know who else to turn to. You feel a man, Philip, who he does move around with, could say something, could try something. Because I go into everybody and they're not even taking you on, they're not concerned. You have to make an appointment to see them, or you have to go someday. He said, I don't know who to turn to. I think we should call Philip the in case of emergency man. Not the fix-it man. Because that's who people turn to in case of an emergency. It seems that people only know about Philip when they don't have anywhere else to turn. So, yeah, I told that guy, we were discussing a piece of roadway, and he was giving me all the reasons why the government should not open that piece of roadway. And I told him, I said, I hope one day when your relatives need to use the roadway, and it takes them an hour and a half to reach where they're going, and they die, you don't understand the importance of 10 minutes on a highway. You know? And I didn't really want to put it across that way, but some people, I don't know how else to tell them it too. And we have a growing class of people, I don't know how much money they want to thief. I have a Range Rover, you have a Range Rover. My neighbor have a Prado, you have a Prado. But you're not concerned about your neighbor next door who dying of hunger. Me and my crew, when we were coming up the road, were laughing of pipelines in our area being fixed with pieces of wood. You believe that? We live in a country that has a budget of $60 billion, and WASA is fixing pipelines with pieces of wood. I don't know how to understand that. I don't. We have rainfall, as Philip said, falling from the sky and none in your taps. You know? And then we have a councillor in our area who lock in the tanks because it sounded like a joke, you know, but it's not. You know? And that is what the Progressive Empowerment Party is about. It's basically about people looking towards each other, led by Mr. Philip Alexander. You know? Yesterday I was in the gas station, another neighbor, and he was explaining to me that he put in $100 a day. Marissa there would have spoken about Cedrus and the landslide, and the fact that the gas truck doesn't want to go down there anymore. So you have people in a community, about 15,000 or so, and they are basically cut off. You know? Right now we have flooding in some so-called Indian areas. So the so-called Negro Party don't care. You know, it's just a uncaring, arrogant set of people. And no matter how much you talk to them, no matter how much you protest, they just don't care. They just make you feel to use obscene language. I don't even know that. I don't even know that will shake them out of the whatever they're in. It's a very arrogant set of people. I saw a video a few days ago where Rohan Sinanan went to the bamboo. I thought somebody would have lashed him, you know. I really thought so because those people, I could understand, you know. People were speaking to Faris. He lives somewhere right in the back there somewhere. But you could actually tell the arrogance of the guy in his demeanor. Yes, he was there, but he wasn't, you could tell by his body language that he wasn't concerned or he didn't go there to help anybody. He just went there for PR. And people have that spirituality, but that they could tell whether you're genuine or not. You know? And that is why the Progressive Empowerment Party is building numbers. Every day people are joining because they are looking for somebody who could take us out of this hopelessness. They're looking for somebody who they can call to. They're looking for proper representation. You understand? People have real problems. We have problems for water, problems for food, problems for gas, problems for the road, problems by the bank. You put your money in the bank for a rainy day, you interfere with it 6 months, and when you're going back, they're telling you your account closed. It's been used up by interest rates. Those people in Bamboo and Woodland, we have something called a ODPM, and people being paid under the ODPM. How much are all here? So any representative, anybody at all from the ODPM assist those people in Woodland or in the Bamboo? None. People made complaints that the army should have assisted on deaf ears again. Philip explained that we have health workers, we have regional workers, we have all kind of workers, but none of them was helping anybody in the Bamboo or Woodland or any of those communities that flooded out. So where all those workers went? Where are all those workers? You know? And that is how it is going. We have a country where the roads are a mess. But everybody telling you that they come in Trinidad to buy oil, to fix their roads, and buy pitch to fix their roads. So again, my name is Sheldon Khan, and I'm from Point Fortin. And I would love everyone to come on board the Progressive Empowerment Party. Because Trinidad belongs to all of us, and together, with one heart and one mind, and one voice and one spirit, helping each other, we can make Trinidad a better place and the best place on earth because we are that kind of people. We can't let a greedy few set of people or a greedy group of people, a greedy few, spoil the thing. So I hope to see you all in the next meeting and the one after that. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Just have one question for Mr. Alexander. Please, sir. The plastic bottle policy. Can you give us a little idea of what is the ultimate objective of that policy? Because I know there's some tax accredited to it, but is it more for environmental or as a revenue earner?
That policy. Thank you.
A speech? A whole speech? How long? How long? Just now. Let me deal with this. Calm down. I apologize. Team's ice cream. Our plastic bottle policy involves the application of a not a tax, a refund redemption at the manufacture or importation stage to be redeemed by people who collect the bottles. It should not generate money for the state, but it will save the state a lot of money. If you are paying 25 cents on a plastic bottle and that becomes law tomorrow, they will empty the labas and all those drains and rivers. So it is environmental. Plus, we want to break it down into strips for foundation, for construction, and beads for road surfacing. Because plastic beads in the hot mix lowers the noise, tire noise on the road, which is like 70% of traffic noise. So it's not to generate any revenue, but it is to clean up the environment and to put the responsibility on the manufacturers and importers of plastics. Thanks for that question, though. I was sitting down there and I said they have something that I was supposed to say. As David have me up here because we're wrapping up now and we all know we have doubles and they're selling ice cream and stuff. Uncle, I will come and talk to you, tell me your problem. What? Precious closing? Okay. Precious.
You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. My soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours. You are mine. inside my shell.